Guys, we're back at it again, and let me get you up to speed. Okay, I switched out that Burris for this Night Force. Let's talk about that for a minute. So something that, and I don't know, this is important for everybody, but as I've gotten older and my eyes have changed, it's really a picky deal for me to have good ergonomics with my scope and to have the eye box and the way my eye interfaces with the scope is just, I'm picky about it way more than I used to be. And I'll be honest, the only two brands of scope that I've used, there's so many brands I haven't, that work for me are Night Force and Leupold. I can make others work, but I don't shoot as well. And I've had this Night Force for several years. I picked it up on a closeout at a Sportsman's Warehouse in Utah. Just bumped into it, and they had it marked down like $300. And it's the cheapest Night Force model that there ever has been. But it's a great scope. They're great scopes. The 1/4 inch click are a 1/4 inch, period. It's awesome. But already just putting the first few shots through it, it was just so sweet for my eye. I was fighting that Burris a little bit, just couldn't get comfortable. So I'm excited about that. And I guess, you know, before we jump into 270 here, I just would really encourage everybody, when you're out shopping for a scope, the place you're shopping at needs to have those little fake stocks where you can put the scope in like a rubber mount and throw it up to your shoulder and check your eye box and all that at different magnification levels. Go outside the store with it. If they've got to follow you out, who cares? You just can't pick out a scope by sitting there and holding it up and all this. You've got to have a way to throw it up to your shoulder and all this business, guys, because I don't know, you know, you could be disappointed if you don't take the time to get out of that sun there. Take the time to really make that pick. So I bore sighted this at home and came out this morning. 48 degrees, tiny little breeze behind us. Perfect morning. I took a shot to verify the bore sight, clicked it up to where I wanted, took another shot. We're good, moved it to 100. And now we're testing more of these 170 ballistic tips with a little more powder behind them than what we came up with last week. We're just gonna, all I'm doing right now, guys, if we get great accuracy, sweet. But all I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of trying to find that max for this rifle with Peterson brass with these 170s and N560, okay? So that's what we're up to today. I'm gonna put some down there and then I'll just keep you guys posted as we go through. There's a couple more things I wanna talk about. There's some data, guys, on a 6-shot string. We'll walk up and take a look here. And while we're walking up, wanted to mention something, you know. We're not trying to compete here with the 6.8 Westerner or the 270 WSM. Certainly not the 270 Weatherby. We're not doing that, guys. We're seeing what this 100-year-old cartridge can do with some modern powders and a little bit more aggressive twist rate. That's all we're doing. I'm done with cartridge wars. I think it's cool that people do it. I got no problem with it. But it's not my thing. You know, you do you on cartridges. I'm out here to just check out this cool old cartridge and see what it's capable of, which I think we're seeing, it's pretty impressive. We're breaking 2850 with a 24-inch barrel. And, you know, there's more room, guys. I'm still not maxed. A tiny little bit of primer flattening is going on there. We're close. We're getting close. I might fiddle with another couple tenths. Might not. I think we've kind of, now we just need to work on accuracy, right? I mean, we're pushing 2850. I don't really know that I care about much more. So here's these 6 shots. I think I know the order of these too. It was, the first 3 were this one, and this one. And then that one, and that one were the next 3. So we're not under an inch. We're still in that 1.25 inches, maybe just under 1.25 inches. So one other thing as we walk back up here is we've had some comments. Appreciate all your comments and the dialogue, and obviously, you know, everybody who watches, thank you. I've seen some comments about, you know, well, you're shooting at 5,000 feet, Mike, you know, do this at sea level. And that's my whole point, guys. I'm going to run the ballistics and develop the load for where I hunt. I don't hunt at sea level. I hunt at anywhere from 6,000 to 9,000, 6,500 to 9,000. And yeah, I realize at sea level the ballistics would be worse here, but I don't hunt at sea level. So the only reason we'd ever do that, right, is if we're trying to compare it to other cartridges. And I have no interest in doing that. There's other channels out there that are really good at doing that. So I'll always just run the ballistics for my conditions, you know, my temperatures, my elevation, you know, my humidity and things like that. And then I was going to talk a little bit too about, I saw this morning Ron Spomer put out a video on he calls it the modern 270, which is kind of a cool thing to call it. And they were running one of these Brownings. I didn't watch the whole video. I know they had some hand loads of 175s and they were getting right at 2,800. It looked like a 26-inch barrel, but I couldn't tell for sure. They had a suppressor on there too. So it's really cool to see a big channel like Ron's doing this, you know, just kind of showing love to the old 270. And that's kind of fun to see. But yeah, they had one of these Brownings. I'm pretty sure it was a 26-inch barrel, and I think they said they were using Ramshot Magnum powder. So that's kind of interesting. And then I'll leave you with one more thing before we send a few more. And I know I'm talking too much, but I've had some questions about, well, how did you know to pick N560 to get to this great velocity so far? And I'm like, well, there's a little bit of luck in there, but also just a little bit of history about looking at burn rates, right? So from the original Project 270, I tried some really slow powders, RL26, 7828, and kind of learned right away that those really slow powders are not ideal in this case. And kind of had more luck with faster powders with the lighter bullets, H4350 and stuff like that. So I said, well, let's start out with this really heavy bullet. Let's start out with something slow. So that's when I went with MagPro. But right away we saw how inefficient MagPro was, right? The charges of MagPro are almost the same as what we're using here with N560, but we couldn't get, you know, we were getting 200 feet per second less with MagPro, so too slow. So when I looked at the burn chart, there were 2 powders I looked at that caught my eye. One was N560 and the other was H4831 or 4831 shortcut. And I might still run that because it's right there on the burn rate chart with N560, and I have a bunch of 4831 shortcut, H4831 shortcut. And so it kind of was like, well, those are a little faster but they're not as fast as like H4350 that's working with the lighter bullets. So I just went, I said, you know what, let's try N560. And then Austin from Reloading Weatherby, he heard me say that, I think, in a video, and he ran it through his software, and he's like, yeah, that's going to work. That's going to be really efficient. And it seems to be. So that's how we got to N560s, just kind of looking that burn rate chart and saying, well, this sort of makes sense. And then just going up from there. All right, too much yakking. I got 6 more of these. Let's see what happens. We're going to just check all 12 of these, 6 and 6, and we'll just get an aggregate velocity, and we'll see if we can tighten that group up a little bit. Let's see here, 2844 for our 9-shot average. And we'll just run down and look at those last 3. I'm going to show you real quick one of these primers. Little focus on that, yep. That's what we're looking like, okay. It's pretty good stuff, guys. 2844, 9 shots. I'm getting some pretty good spread. I don't know what that's all about. Felt good about the load development and everything, but we'll keep dialing that in. 2844 on a 9-shot average. That primer's just a little bit. I wouldn't be afraid to run another couple tenths. Probably diminishing returns at this point. And let's take a look at this 3-shot group we just sent down there. I think that's going to go right at an inch. Happy with it, super happy with it. I haven't played at all with seating depth. We're running just max COAL for 270, 3.34, I think it is. I noticed in that Ron Spomer video today, they were running them 3.5 and change. And he mentioned the same thing I did a few days ago, that Browning really hooked us up when they went with this fast twist 270. They made the magazine take nice long cartridges. So that's a really cool thing. And Browning did it right, guys, when they did it. And I think if you're interested in pushing the limits with the 270, you've got to take a look at this Browning, unless you're going to have a custom rifle made. So yeah, I think once we've decided we're happy with velocity, then I'm going to fiddle with seating depth and fine-tuning, see if we can get a consistent MOA rifle out of this 170. And we haven't even played around, guys. I still believe the 160s are a great option here. The 160 partition that Nosler makes in 277, not a great BC, okay, but wow, if you can get that to be MOA and you could push this 2850, 2900, oh my gosh, what a tremendous all-around big game. Moose, elk, bear, doesn't matter. Okay, got 3 more. Let's see what happens. There's the 12-shot results, guys. 2847, and there they are. And you can check all those primers out. I think we're focusing pretty good there. There's a little room yet if a guy wants to. You know, now I've got, you know, I don't know, we could do the math, 50, 60 rounds through this Browning. What a great rifle. Over the years, I've had an A-bolt in 264 Win Mag. I think this is my first X-bolt. I've never really paid much attention to them, and maybe that was kind of stupid. Very nice rifle. Man, the action is sweet. The magazine, it's high quality. Fit and finish is great. You know, pretty impressed with it, so excited about that. It's not heavy, it's not light, it's just a well-designed rifle. And I think I had another I had a comment from Little Crow Gunworks, and you guys I'm sure are familiar with his channel, and he's also doing a 270 fast twist project, it sounds like. So that'll be awesome. I think he's pretty darn smart, knowledgeable, experienced shooter, so I'm looking forward to learning from him too. Yeah, it's exciting stuff here on the 270. Well, let's just see what these last three did. We'll just walk up here past all the trash that other people leave laying around. Unbelievable. And let's look at these, because what I did, guys, is I just shot for the bottom center here. And those three are the last three, and that's gonna go inch, maybe a little under. So that's so sweet. Well, guys, I can't spend too much more time out here today. It's my anniversary, and I told my bride, I said, hey, I'll get up early and get this taken care of for Hunt Simple, and then she can sleep in, and I'll be home, stop and get her a coffee, her favorite coffee, on the way home, and then we'll have the rest of the day to do our thing and enjoy our time. We're really seeing summer transition to fall here in the eastern Idaho Snake River Plain. You can feel it, guys. You can feel it coming. Had a hot, dry summer that broke this past week, and we're still going to be up in the 80s and stuff for sure, but with the days getting shorter, it just feels different, right? It just feels different. Like this morning, first morning, I'd say, I'm like, oh yeah, fall is in the air. So the older I get, the more I love summer, the less I like winter. But I'll tell you what, fall always has been, and maybe always will be, my favorite season. Not only does it equate to hunting, but just to me, the weather in the fall is just perfect. There's something about that crisp feeling you get in the mornings. I don't know, that feeling of you flip on the TV and there's college football on, or high school football. Maybe it's an American thing, I don't know, but fall is cool. Guys, I appreciate you. Appreciate all your amazing comments in that last video about the past and the things we looked at together several years ago and how those helped out. And it means a lot, and I appreciate that. All right, so here's what I'm thinking. I don't know that I'm going to chase velocity anymore here. We're right there at 2850. Gosh, I feel like maybe we should though, right? Because, you know, but here's the thing. A half a grain picked us up about 15 feet per second. I went up half a grain. Is there another half in there? Maybe. And that gets us to, you know, I guess what would that get us to? Maybe 2860, 2865. I don't know. I'll think that over. But I'm kind of anxious now. I mean, we've proven out a sub-MOA load here already, guys, at 2850. And we'll run those ballistics, and I'll throw them in the video here. You guys can see on this updated ballistic chart that we really don't have much of a change over what we had last week when we were at 2830. So this is what I'm talking about, where you're, you know, diminishing returns, just trying to squeeze another 10 or 15 feet per second. So there's a good chance we're just going to be happy at 2850, guys, and then look at that performance downrange. It's incredible for the 270. But I'm kind of excited to go look at some 150s. Remember, guys, I couldn't get 150s to consistently run in a 1 in 10 twist, and I tried several different rifles. So I don't want to give up on that. I mean, what if we could really push a 150 with some better powders? I don't know. We've got a lot to do on this project. I think it's kind of shocking how quickly we hit some pretty sweet stuff here. But that's kind of where we're at and where we're headed, guys, and we'll catch up really soon.